Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. How's everyone doing today? Good morning, Sterling. Thank you for putting in the earnings on holdings. Beat up 20.69%. Wow. Circle, beat, stock down 3.87. Maybe it's circling the drain. Good morning, John. Good morning, Patrick. Remind me to look at, I'm just going to call it onion and circle. Onion's been saved by the weekly 200 and is gapping up into a previous weekly support area after being very oversold. We can take a look at the targets. Coinbase, I didn't see that one. Leaving DE, Delaware, reincorporating in Texas. Yeah, boy. Good morning, Anissa. So, good morning, Jake. Circle is gapping down to check off the 87.5 for retracement from its IPO low of 64. Well, there you go. Did it complete the 87.5 rule? I love the 87.5 rule. Hello, Charles. You can't miss if you have no revenue. Well, you can still miss on revenue. You can't miss on earnings if you have no revenue. If you have no revenue, well, then how are you in bit? You have to be bringing in something. You could have no earnings. But if you're not bringing in any revenue, that would be scary. Good morning, Royal Palms. All right. Good morning to Patrick and Rusty over on Rumble. So, shutdown, House votes to end the shutdown today at 7 p.m. Eastern. So we'll see. We shall see. What else do we have? We got the mortgage stuff coming out this morning. A rate ticking up a bit, but 30 years, 30-year mortgages. Where's our 50-year mortgage? Really stupid idea. But 30-year mortgage ticking up slightly. We got hook of this. Williams, Paulson, Waller, Bostic, Moran. Boy, a day filled with Fed speak. Can we get any more Fed speak? Can we just get rid of the Fed, period? That's all. I'm going to just keep saying it till the Fed is gone. Chips getting bid this morning. Mag 7 getting bid. Is a triggered a little mini double bottom on Walmart. OKLO had no revenue. It's a nuclear startup company. It has no revenue. Well, it's going to burn through its funding quickly, isn't it? Yeah. Oh boy, IOUs, everything 20 times in the future. I mean, have you seen some companies are trading 30 to 50 times their revenue? Not their earnings, their revenue. That's insane. Hey, Wall Street, Y'all Street is ready for you in Texas. I don't like companies incorporating in Texas. They're it's a little weird with the way you can. Their rules aren't as strict. I think Delaware's a lot better. You can play a lot more games in Texas, and I don't want corporations playing games. So your groups, energy and consumer defensive are negative. Everything else is positive, led by technology and consumer cyclical. So we're going to see today the NASDAQ hasn't been able to close over to 62.5. Is the NASDAQ going into catch-up mode? 64.5% for the December rate cut. Fear and greed still broken in fear mode. But what's interesting here, keep watching this. The stock price breadth ticking. I mean, this has been deteriorating, ticking up a little, but I want to see, unless this breaks out again to the upside, this rally isn't supported broadly yet. This snapback rally. Schiller PE, 40-40. At least we're back over 40. Thank you for putting in the earnings. After the close, we got Cisco. That's the big one after the close. Before the open tomorrow, you got Disney. You also have things like JD.com, gambling.com, I mean stockmarket.com. That's about it. Tomorrow after close, Applied Materials. So, good morning, Ted. Isn't much for me to talk about. Closed above the 62.5. We broke above the trend line, closed above the 62.5. Back on Monday. Followed through yesterday, ticking off the 75 with the high. Coming up this morning. Coming up this morning, we're into a key area, but we have a lot of resistance up here. I'm still focused on this 6,900. Then this technical is 69.16. What was the high this morning? 6,900. So if we push through that, cycles are still rising up. We're not overbought yet. We do now. This is wonderful for longer term. This may never trigger, but we do have a potential double top. So from a stop perspective, from a trailing stop for more of a medium term thing, that could be a really nice area if that were to trigger. Other than that, let me adjust that one. All right. Other than that, not much else to say. We'll go through the higher levels once we take off the 87.5. Good morning, Jacob. The OpenAI interview with Sam Altman was played alongside the Enron CEO's testimony about not presenting earnings. Anybody who doesn't know, I was around for Enron. There's a great documentary on it too. You should look that up. I don't know where you can see it right now, but you should. If you weren't around then, you should really watch the Enron story, because we're gonna see a lot more of that repeating. So higher still. Key thing I'm watching. Same thing I said. Same thing I said yesterday. Watching the 4-hour rotation zone. There was a little 4-hour percent B buys, so I'm keeping an eye on those. Any pullback in the 4-hour rotation zone with a percent B buy, all right, on the break of that high, can be a resumption of trend because there is no topping pattern yet. So I'm still keeping an eye on those pullbacks in the 4-hour rotation zone. Aggressive is the 1-hour rotate, a little deeper into the 1 hour. That's the aggressive one. NASDAQ. Can see here, finally now breaking. It was the last 2 days. Key resistance was right around that 62.5, trying to break above it and take out another potential trend line. If the NASDAQ can get going today and really take that out, the key areas and follow through with a close above the 62.5, but it's still the 75. I'm watching how it reacts intraday at about 25,880. Excuse me. Also keeping an eye on the 4-hour rotation zone. There was a little one that dipped down, but this set up a percent B buy bar there, resumptive here. So I'm watching for pullbacks into that rotation zone, finally getting separation. The minor support was a 25,735. The major support area for me is closer to about 25,650. Hey, Christoph. Oh, good. Good power shortages. Yay for us. The smartest guys in the room. Yep, they were. They were the smartest guys in the room, the most scammy guys in the room. Excuse me, I got a tickle in my throat this morning. Where's that? Has launched its first gold-backed stablecoin. You'd have to do some research into that. That's the name of the doc. Yes. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I remember they also were called the smartest guys in the room. But what is it playing anywhere, Ted? Is it playing anywhere? Because it's a really good watch. The Dow ticked off the 87 rule with a monster day yesterday, and in potential double top territory. May never trigger, but there you go. If the Dow now, it played catch up in the Dow yesterday. That's why I'm watching the Russell and the NASDAQ, especially the NASDAQ. So that's where we sit with the Dow. By the way, the key targets 48,200 and then 48,419. Support, it's a little overextended from the 4-hour rotation zone, so I'm watching the top of it coming in about 48K. What else? Russell finding major resistance above this 2475 area, so that's the breakout point I'm keeping an eye on, and the support point now is about 2460. So that's the key levels I'm watching for the Russell. For the Russell. Again, no pattern there, no larger pattern there. But if it can break really above this 2475, minor level is 2488, major level is 2500. VIX dropping back down. Still a bit elevated, so we'll have to see if this VIX really starts dropping and we get sell the volatility. Look for another push higher. It's on Netflix. Going to watch it. Yeah, it's really worth watching. Good morning. Did I say good morning to you, Heinrich? DAX breaking above the key resistance yesterday and now continuing up to the next 24,485 area where it's found resistance. Not much in watching for much more out of the DAX today besides that resistance level. Yields with the notes, very little going on today in the yields. Just watch. I'm going to be watching this tomorrow with cycles getting back to the bottom for potential percent beat buy setups with it holding the rotation zone. The only way that'll change is if we substantially close below the rotation zone. But the key area for me, even if you close below the rotation zone, is now 4.06. 30-year, little gap down today. Going to be watching again for percent B tomorrow. Crude came up to the first target, the 61 I listed yesterday with the break above there, and then strong reversal back down into support. 59.60. If we break through that support level, then I'm watching again for the unfilled gap that hasn't happened yet. That gap coming in at 58.50. But I'm paying very close attention this morning to 59.60. And these aren't long-term things. These, again, as I've said, crude is scalpy only. Scalping. Natty gas, still nothing to talk about there. Gold. This is not a little double top. You can see it's a triple top now on the 4 hour. Right now, still the next key target. We're into the 50% to 62.5. So again, I've taken off the extra stuff, but if it rolls over from here, it's still technically the head and shoulders is not over. I was never really bearish on it because of the weekly rotation zone, but I'm still paying very close attention between this 50 and 62.5. If it closes back above 42.12, it shifts the probabilities higher besides this little snapback from the double. But the next official target is 41.84. Silver from the inverse head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder for those new people. First target hit on Monday. Second target pretty much hit yesterday. Looks like it's gonna take out the third target hit. Yesterday did close above the 62.5. So the extended target now, I choose 52.73 for the 87.5 rule. All right. Also, this does put silver into a massive potential double top. It may never trigger. And I'm sorry I have to keep saying that, because too many people continue to confuse it that, oh, because it's there means I'm bearish on silver. No, but that's a great long-term stop point. Because you have a potential setup doesn't mean you have a trade yet. Dollar index would technically be a percent beat buy above yesterday's high. Don't know if we'll get there. Coming back down to the rotation zone and trying to bounce a little. Paying really close attention to that one too. And the euro. Watching, still could not close above the rotation zone yesterday. Watching for a rollover sell, but nothing yet. Nothing yet. Your spiders. Spiders taking out the 87.5. Remember, Monday shifted it to the 75 and the 87.5 rule. Next target there is 686.14. Any rollover play would be to 683 for the gap fill. So that's what we have there. By the way, about 685.90, you have a very strong resistance shelf right in front of that 686.14. Also, remember on a push higher, continuing push through the rest of the week, there's still a gap fill left behind to 687.39. I'm just going to mark that off. So there you go. So you can see the gap. Oops. You can see the gap fill that's left behind right here. So that's another key area to watch for upside targets. The Qs, which technically on Monday, remember the futures didn't, but the Qs did close above the 62.5. 627.42 is a 75% rule. And then we have 632.22. Wait, hello. Well, hello, OG Green. Gold and silver basically has to be traded in 1 hour to get into the daily patterns. When is this okay to do? I do it when there's momentum. Or I don't mind doing it on a lot of things if there's potential. If it's been strong market, I don't mind doing it. Like with these pullback patterns, I don't mind doing it, but I will not hold it. I don't mind taking the risk, but I will not hold it if it does not follow through at the close to trigger the pattern. What else? We got Bitcoin. This pullback yesterday did not invalidate the little mini double bottom pattern. The invalidation point, we'll get to the stocks. The invalidation point is still closed below 102.113 or trade below 101.40. So even with the reaction to the rotation zone, which puts the double in a lower probability category, it's now trying to rotate back up. Yeah, well, this is a joke. This is the rebate, you know. So again, we're going to give a tariff rebate because there's lower people. I'm sorry, tariff is a tax. Not going to get away from that. And it does raise prices. Not going to get not buying the crap that it doesn't. And so now we're going to give people stimulus at the lower end, which is also could trigger another round, even though even if you go off Truflation's numbers, we're at 2.5%. We're not near 2. Yeah, and been penalized for selling. We pay incredibly high taxes and always get the middle finger from the government. This is why I want small government and get the hell out of everything. Let us have our money. You know what? I'll pay for stuff like national defense. I'm not paying for a lot of this other crap. It's a friggin' joke. And I don't, on either side, I don't want government. On any side. Because all they do, we keep getting larger and larger government that takes more and more money. We get further into debt. Oh, and then we'll give you some of your money back. Screw you. Screw you. That's all I have to say. Circle. There you go. Does that invalidate that potential double bottoms? Gap down. There's your circle. What's that? 92.49, 92.94. Technically, we'll have to see how this trades today because it could still keep the double into play. But overnight taking off the 87.5 rule. It's an interesting one to watch for. Now, that would be a super aggressive double if it does not get invalidated. But look at that, up and down. And what was the other one? Please help me out here. What was the other one I had to look at? Then we'll look at PG. Oh, OKLO. Is that no? That's not, that's the nuclear company. Where is it? Oh, boy. Onion. I know it's on holding. Oh, there's your big gap up. The weekly, that would be a percent B buy bar, but the first and targets would already be hit. Remember, some setups, there's not a trade because unless you're doing something pre or post market with that, here would be my targets. My first target on this, from this, let's say you could have got in it. The first target would have been roughly the 39 area, and the second target would be around 43. We're trading 42.65. So that one, some of the trades, they just don't happen. Personally, I bet you I'd be watching this if this continues to be watching for another rollover play, personally. Let's see. Last time it did 944 in revenue. This time it did 997. So you're trading at a 76 PE. Revenue did increase, but not nearly enough to justify that. And you're gapping up, which is going to take away any. So I'd definitely be looking for another rollover play from a fundamental perspective. And there's nothing, I would not be doing it today. What else? PG. Again, some of these, keep an eye on these. Keep an eye on some of these consumer staple things, consumer defensive things. Not yet. Not yet, but PG, there's your little mini. I assume it meets the rules if people have called it out in here. Yep. Between the major buy zone for a pullback and making a little mini double bottom, which triggered yesterday. So that could take it back to the 50 potentially. It is against the daily rotation zone, but that's there you go with that. That's there's your Walmart. Here's your double bottom. They're pulling back to the bottom of the rotation zone, setting up now. Would this be a long-term hold for me? Not on your life. Is this a tradable percentual bounce pattern that takes it back between the 50 and the 62.5? Yes, it is. Is it guaranteed? No. But look at, again, the earnings aren't here until Thursday the 20th. So next Thursday, this could easily play out before then. Why is this not a long-term thing for me? Because I'm not paying $38.64 for a long-term hold at Walmart and a 0.91 dividend. Is it a tradable bounce? Yes. So these are the kind of things. If you're looking, and Sterling, he pointed out, pay attention to the levels and watch for, percent doubles, or I said percent B buys. And these are the kind of things I watch for. Pull back to the bottom rotation zone. Look how many times the 21. Look at this. Since the cross here, look how held here, held here, held here, held here, held here so far, and a little bounce pattern. Does that mean it's going to hold longer term? Not necessarily, but we do have a valid pattern. These are the kind of things when you get pretty key levels, and this is also a pretty decent support level from before, multiple times tested, with a little trigger double bottom. I hope people are seeing that. What are we looking at now? Let's see what and after they tax you with tariffs, they give some of you back. Then they tax you as an income. Yep. It's a friggin' joke. It's a friggin' joke, Ted. Spot on. That's why. Smaller government. You have both. Oh, my side's going to fix it. Your side's going to screw it up just as. I don't want sides in this because a lot of things, everybody has a side. Well, there can be smart policies, there can be dumb policies on anybody's side. I think the smartest policy is to have a smaller friggin' government so we have less stupid policies. How about that one? You didn't get a single penny from any of the COVID stimulus. Hey, Sterling, didn't you start your own little mini company and say you had 100 employees and get all the forgiven stimulus checks like all the fraudulent people did? Oh. You get simulated as well, Sterling. You know what? All the free money. The free money comes from somewhere. Exactly correct, OD Green. What do you mean you guys? They're insane. They want to get rid of the Venezuelan leadership. Don't even start me on Venezuela. Don't start me on any of this stuff. Everybody knows what I am. I'm a friggin' libertarian. Smaller government across the board. That's not no government. That's smaller government getting the way out of everything besides some key elements. And I don't want governments investing in stock market and in companies. I don't want any of that. Size equals grifts. So that's it. It's just like I don't want the friggin' Federal Reserve. If you need to have a rule, make a rule. It's a clown show. Manipulating everything. It's all a clown show. We live in a clown world where we don't have capitalism. I don't even know what we have. I don't even know what we have. Bail out everything. Oh, it's now too big to fail. Let's bail it out. Socialism for the rich. Oh, but let's pay more taxes for this crap. All right. Let's see. Let's pay more taxes for this crap. All right, S&P, very short-term support level, 68.85. NASDAQ, just seeing how that's looking. Is that a little mini double? Against the 4-hour rotation zone, so again, I would not be short in that. I'd be looking for pullbacks. Yep. Yippers. Yeesh. So let's see how that looks on the 4-hour. Right into there. So those could be some key. This is where I'll look for pullbacks. Is that I don't think that qualifies as a bigger potential double. Sorry for the rant. Oh, wow. Does that? Yeah, this is still. Now that would be interesting. If we triggered this bigger double, that would be interesting to me. This little mini one would be looking for pullbacks. Again, 4-hour rotation zone, but the bigger one would be interesting because that could take us back to between the 50 and the 62.5 on a retracement basis. So that's the one I'd be looking at overall. Yeah, I've read The Monster from Jekyll Island. The Fed has never been about the overall health of the economy. Nope, it has not. Is tech the new banks too big to fail? Maybe AI, open AI. Government should backstop us. Really? Really? Oh, it's so critical. Private sector can't do it. We need to be backstopped by the government. Screw you. If you look at the 60 to 65 minute perfect short setup on NASDAQ, again, this is a little mini double. I'm just going to be looking because against 4-hour rotation, to see how it reacts at the targets. The bigger one is this. That's the bigger setup I'm looking at. What did the tick open at, by the way? Eh, minor positive. Nothing much there. All right. I'll let everybody get back to it. Let everybody get back to it. But things are definitely shifting in your AI world. AI is getting a little tired. So I'm going to be watching to see if some of these bigger patterns end up triggering, which is great stop levels, as I said before. Until then, thank you for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully. I'll be back tomorrow. And we'll talk to everyone later. Bye for now.